Hey, friends! I think it's no secret that Pepsi is one of the most famous and beloved soft drinks in the world, enjoyed by millions. You can even find it in the most remote corners of the planet, all thanks to its sweet, refreshing, and truly satisfying taste. If you took all the Pepsi ever produced in over 100 years, poured it into bottles, and lined them up end to end, it could wrap around the Earth an incredible 4,500 times. Just take a moment to picture that. The sheer scale of production is mind-blowing, and that number keeps growing every single day. The story of Pepsi-Cola could fill entire days of discussion. Its history is deeply intertwined with politics, drama, bankruptcy, fierce competition with Coca-Cola, and thousands of other stories. But despite the love of millions, the road to recognition was far from easy. They say success isn't a destination, it's a continuous journey. And today, friends, I want to take you on that journey, 120 years long, to see how Pepsi climbed its way to become one of the top names in the food and beverage market. The story of how this amazingly delicious drink came to be is fascinating and unusual. But what's always intrigued me the most is this question: who came up with these billion-dollar empires that surround us everywhere? Who could have thought of it first? And most importantly, how did these people turn their dreams into reality? After all, there are countless examples of brilliant ideas that never made it off the page. I'm sure that after watching this video, Pepsi-Cola will be more than just a familiar logo for you. You'll learn a lot of new and interesting things, stuff you probably never even guessed. So let's travel back to the year 1867. On May 27th of that year, a boy named Caleb Davis Bradham was born in North Carolina. There isn't a whole lot known about his youth, but after finishing college, he went on to study at the Maryland School of Medicine. He had a burning ambition to become a doctor while working part-time as a regular pharmacist in a small pharmacy. Unfortunately, a family crisis forced Caleb to leave school and return home. For a short time he taught, but his heart was always drawn to medicine. So, after saving enough money, by the age of 30, he opened his very own pharmacy in the center of New Bern, a small town of just 27,000 people. Since 1798, soda fountains had become popular. These were special machines that dispensed fizzy-carbonated drinks. Today, you can still find them in some fast food joints, but of course they don't carry the same charm they did back then. At the end of the 19th century, one of these fountains was installed in Bradham's pharmacy. People didn't just come in for medicine, they came for relaxed conversations too. It was completely normal at the time. Local residents of New Bern loved spending hours in Caleb's pharmacy, listening to the music player and sipping fizzy drinks. To delight his customers even more, in 1893, Caleb started experimenting with different combinations of juices, spices, and syrups. He mixed multiple flavors, but the one his customers loved the most was a blend of vanilla, rare oils, and cola nut extract. Later, this soda was named after its creator, Brad's drink. It was a non-alcoholic drink, completely free of any narcotics, and, surprisingly, it was often used by other pharmacists at the time. There's a theory that the name Pepsi-Cola came from the enzyme pepsin included in the drink, but there's no solid proof for that. A more likely explanation is that the name came from the fact that Caleb Bradham originally promoted the syrup as a remedy for stomach problems, what they called dyspepsia. Either way, in 1898, the pharmacist officially renamed his Brad's drink to Pepsi-Cola. That was the very first time the name was used. According to Caleb himself, the mixture was meant to aid digestion and act like a special digestive enzyme. Word about this miraculous syrup quickly spread through the town. People came not just for a remedy, but for the delicious taste, too. Soon, hundreds of customers were lining up just to get a serving. Caleb hadn't expected it, but business was booming, and his cash register kept growing every single day. Of course, pharmacists from neighboring towns tried to copy Bradham's drink, but no one could come close to recreating it. Day by day, week by week, the drink kept growing in popularity, not just in Caleb's hometown, but beyond its borders. Within a year, it had even started spreading outside the state. This sweet and refreshing syrup quickly became a hit, and in 1903, Caleb officially registered it as a trademark. That same year, Bradham launched his first advertising campaign, featuring a popular race car driver of the time, Barney Oldfield. He presented Pepsi to the masses as a refreshing, energizing, and healthy drink. Sales skyrocketed, reaching nearly 80,000 liters a year. Demand was far higher than supply, and the company's facilities couldn't keep up. That's when Bradham had the idea to start bottling Pepsi in glass bottles, so it could be stored for longer periods. After finding a supplier for the bottles and partners across the regions, the soda quickly spread to 24 nearby states. People flocked to stores and lined up just to try that unforgettable taste for the first time. Business was booming for the young company, right up until 1923. But rising sugar prices after World War I pushed the company to the brink of bankruptcy in just a few months. Caleb faced two choices: either halt production or sell Pepsi at sky-high prices. On top of that, sugar shortages were a serious problem. He even tried using molasses as a substitute, but the results were disastrous. After the war, sugar prices went even higher, but Bradham kept buying it anyway. Still, no matter how hard he tried, staying afloat wasn't working. Interestingly, Bradham kept the recipe for Pepsi a strict secret. No one but him knew it, and the production process was set up so that it was nearly impossible to figure out. But the crisis forced his hand. To officially declare bankruptcy, Bradham had to reveal the recipe and even swear it in court. The road to success was far less sweet than it had seemed at the start. He had to sell his company's stock for pennies just to keep something for himself. That's how Pepsi-Cola was torn from its founder's hands. That same year, the company was sold to Craven Holding Corporation, led by an unknown millionaire, for a mere $30,000. 8 years later, the company went bankrupt again and quickly changed hands once more, this time for just $10,000. The new director was Charles Guth, president of the candy company Loft Incorporated. Under Guth's sharp and careful leadership, Pepsi completely rebranded and pulled off a bold marketing move that kept it alive during the Great Depression of the 1930s. The move? For just 5 cents, you got twice as much Pepsi as a 12-cent bottle of Coca-Cola. Guth kept margins minimal. Profit wasn't the goal, just covering production costs. This generous-sounding offer didn't hurt customers' wallets, but knocked Coca-Cola sideways. Unsold bottles piled up for competitors, and Pepsi quickly gained millions of fans. It's worth noting, Pepsi was practically Coca-Cola's little sibling, invented 12 years after Coke hit the market. Thanks to Guth's daring strategy, Pepsi quickly became a favorite among kids, cementing its future fan base. As for the logo, it changed nearly every decade. From 1898 to the 1940s, it was simply red letters on a white background, with only the font evolving. But during World War II, Pepsi redesigned it entirely, a red and blue circle split by a wavy white stripe, mimicking the colors of the US flag as a tribute to American soldiers. It was during this period that Pepsi began overtaking other popular drinks like Royal Crown and Dr. Pepper, becoming the second most popular soda after Coca-Cola. In 1963, Donald Kendall became the new CEO of Pepsi. And let me tell you, his impact on the brand was massive, literally. After the company's founder, Kendall was the next big figure who shaped Pepsi's future. He started at Pepsi-Cola as just a regular sales rep, and over a few decades of hard work, by 1956 he had climbed up to become vice president of marketing. Now, we all know there's no patented formula for success, but there's one key ingredient that can't be ignored: advertising. Back in 1960, Pepsi teamed up with the BBDO agency, and boy, did they get it right. In every commercial, Pepsi wasn't just water and syrup, it was a lifestyle. Pepsi was a vibe. Take the iconic campaign from the 70s, the Pepsi Challenge. People did blind taste tests, and in 3 out of 5 cases, they picked Pepsi over Coke. That shook the competition to the core. Coca-Cola even changed their formula, adding more sugar, which led to firing all their top execs and reverting back to the classic taste. But that was just the warm-up for the advertising battles that continue to this day. Fast forward to 1984, when Wayne Calloway takes over as CEO. Under his leadership, Pepsi ran a knockout advertising campaign featuring dozens of global superstars. The faces of Pepsi included youth icons like Madonna, Michael Jackson, basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal, Britney Spears, and even football superstar David Beckham. And the ad budgets? record-breaking. That commercial with Britney cost millions and became one of the most expensive in history. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So many celebrities have appeared in Pepsi ads, you could list them all night. Pepsi also made its mark in movies. The company was one of the first to do subtle product placements in films and cartoons like Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Needle, and Back to the Future. These appearances proved to the world that advertising could be more than just selling a product, it could be an art form. Of course, PepsiCo isn't just about the classic Pepsi-Cola. Today, it's a massive portfolio of drinks and snacks you can find almost anywhere across the globe. One of the most popular Pepsi products is Pepsi Generations, the classic version of the drink with designs spanning from the 1940s all the way to the early 2000s. Over the years, Pepsi has released countless variations for different markets. Pepsi Light, Pepsi Max, Pepsi Gold, Pepsi Cherry, and so many more. Take Japan, for example. PepsiCo teamed up with the local company Suntory to create limited edition flavors like iced cucumber, salted watermelon, baobab flower, strawberry and cream, cinnamon, and more. Each market gets its own unique spin. Today, PepsiCo is led by Indra Nooyi, an American businesswoman of Indian descent. She's known as a brilliant strategist who built a top-notch team of executives, colleagues, and friends, all fully committed to her vision. Under her leadership, PepsiCo significantly expanded its range of food and beverage products. Now, PepsiCo isn't just about sodas. The company produces carbonated and non-alcoholic drinks, dairy products, snacks, juices, and even baby food. These are products that stay relevant even during a crisis. Every year, the brand portfolio grows, increasing the company's stock value and profits. PepsiCo owns a massive number of brands worldwide, many of which you probably consume every day without even realizing they're part of the PepsiCo family. In 2010, the corporation's revenue exceeded $45 billion. According to Forbes' 2012 ranking, PepsiCo was the 58th largest company in the world. Even though the competition between the two soda giants, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, has been going strong for over a century, Coke still holds the top spot. But Pepsi's marketers keep innovating, always hoping to claim the #1 position. At its core, Pepsi isn't just a company, it's a story, a blueprint. A story of how a single product, paired with vision and experience, can grow into a global empire across multiple markets. As for the founder himself, it's worth mentioning a bit about his life after Pepsi. After selling the company, Caleb Bradham joined the Shriners, a North American fraternal organization, and became a secretary for a Sudanese temple. He also served as a banking officer, honorary president of the state railroad, and was one of the founders of the North Carolina Naval Police, eventually becoming a naval logistics officer. Caleb Bradham, the pharmacist and inventor, was also deeply invested in pharmaceutical education. Every year, right up until his death, he awarded Bradham prizes to the best students. Today, experts say that Bradham had a modern business. In the wrong decade, he was a full third of a century ahead of his time. Unfortunately, the timing played a cruel trick on him. But no matter what, that's history now. Friends, this is how a drink that started in a little backwater town in North Carolina, invented pretty much on a whim, turned into one of the world's biggest brands and a serious player on the global stage, just 120 years later. It really proves one thing: everything big always starts small. And now, it's probably time I ask you this. What's your pick? Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And of course, don't forget to hit like and tell us what topics you'd like to see next on our channel. But hey, I'm not saying goodbye just yet. See you soon.